Welcome to the Pasho Perspective, a place where I share my perspective on everything in the space between life and death. I'm your host, Pasho. Well, my Pachos Chachos, the summer sessions have finally concluded and a new school year has begun. So in this episode, I'm going to offer up my first impressions. However, before I could even get to that segment of the show, I have to first come out into the open and apologize. I know I had promised that I was going to make a show last week, and believe me, my beautiful Pachos Chachos, I would have liked nothing more than to have recorded an episode for you and had a little parlay. But, man, you wouldn't believe it. On the first day of school, the first lunch that I give myself, 8-day-old salmon. And I know right now you're like already screaming and saying after 3 days you throw it away. And yeah, absolutely, I get that. But I didn't think about it, obviously, at that moment in the morning where I was used to waking up later, So I smelled it, which I think is really a testament to my homemade teriyaki sauce. But it smelled good. And I mixed it with another little Tupperware of white rice. And, you microwave both of them. You mix it together. I ate it. And to be honest, I, enjoyed it. I found it a very good pairing. And, man, I didn't even finish the day. My poor students in my last class, with 20 minutes to spare, there was just a sensation in the deepest cockles of my bowels. And I had to excuse myself, and in the bathroom realized through much upchucking that perhaps I should get someone to watch them and try to make it home alive. And that's what I did, and I was very lucky. My wife was home, so she went and picked up our kids. It was their first day of school, and they walked for the first time, which is pretty great. So she's so amazing, all the things that she does and was able to take care of despite my condition. But back to the 8-day-old teriyaki salmon, it destroyed me, is pretty much all I can say. And I pretty much got up after, every 90 minutes and relieved myself. And that's about as grotesque as I'm going to get it. But I was suffering. And that went on for about 36 hours until I could actually, rest, not pass out through exhaustion and dehydration, but to actually get some REM sleep, to which I woke up on Thursday a little bit delusional, to the point where my depth perception was very skewed, and I rolled out of bed. I tried to prop myself up and instead missed the corner of the bed, and you would think my balance would hold me on, but alas, it was not. And I collapsed to the floor. And that's not even the funniest part. I think the most humorous part is that I spent the next 30 minutes on the floor trying to figure out how to stand up because, again, my depth perception was off, and my brain was able to send the message to move my legs like, there they are. But that was about as much as I could do for a moment. And, man, I started feeling better on Friday. Drove and got to see some family, which is always fantastic. But my wife had to drive home. Saturday, tried to go out and eat, but my eyes were certainly bigger than my stomach. But needless to say, I am back in shape. And was actually able to take Yona, my little Sportster, out to go to work, which is always one of my favorite parts of the day, that and coming home on Yona. Along with teaching literature this year, I have also taken it upon myself to manage my son's baseball team. He's part of a 10 under Little League, and we are the White Sox this year, which is pretty exciting. And I look forward to sharing my anecdotes about what happens because I, for one, have never done this in my life. I've played baseball. My father has been my coach. And, I remember being decent, but now I get an opportunity to teach my son along with 10 other kids. I really look forward to this opportunity. I think for me personally, it's going to be a lot of growth to be able to exercise patience with young kids and to, help inspire and motivate and build up, like I try to do in my classroom. I want to do the same thing on the team. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that coach that yells at the kids and, yells insults and closes them down, and then makes them hate the sport. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that, helps them enjoy it so much that it becomes something that they want to pass on to their kids and become, maybe a baseball coach someday as well and remember it fondly like I do. So my youngest is going to be playing t-ball, and I'm looking really forward to that. I remember the first time I ever saw a t-ball game, it was my younger brother's, and it was a riot. Somebody hits the ball, like let's say over the shortstop's head, and everybody in the outfield goes running to that ball, and everybody except the first baseman and the pitcher and the catcher, well, sometimes even the pitcher and the catcher go running after that ball out in the outfield. Oh, and then there's like no one to throw it to. And meanwhile, the other kid's just running around. And it was one of the most beautiful, innocent, pure, fantastic things. And I hope that it still is that way and that we can keep it that way. And, just for the love of the game, learn it and pass it on. That's another one of those things that has been passed along for so long, that has united us, that has made us drop perhaps petty differences to unite under a common theme that we love competition, we love sports, we love each other, we love our city, we love our home team, we love, that's what we do. We love. So back to business. My first impression of my students who are now going to be the class of 2026. I think they told me they were born in like 2007, 2008 or something like that. It's kind of crazy. But you wouldn't believe it, guys. You wouldn't believe it, right? I didn't even make the entire day. And they already complained. They complained because I mentioned that the CDC guidelines requiring masks or suggesting masks had changed, and that perhaps they should inform themselves of the new guidelines, and if they didn't want to wear a mask so they can breathe fresh air, that it would be okay in my classroom. They felt ashamed. Like I was trying to attack them, like I was trying to make them feel dumb or something about it. I don't understand. I mean, I'm not that sensitive. I can't fathom taking someone's opinion and suggestion for me to breathe clean air. I just never would have thought that would have been something to even think of or classify as offensive. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. But I think that's kind of crazy. And so, as always, I look forward to teaching all of my students and my children, challenges be what they may. But I think that's kind of crazy. I mean, it's bad enough the last 3 years they've been going after me because they don't like that I'm conservative. They don't like that I'm Catholic. They don't like that I tell the truth. I think that's important in education. I'm one of those old school guys, I guess. I'm going to tell you the truth. And now, that's it. I wasn't trying to be snarky. I wasn't trying to be mean. I was pretty sure making eye contact with all of them, with the exception of my fourth block, in which case I couldn't make eye contact after a certain period because it created nausea. But I hope it's not a bad sign, an ominous sign of things to come. I hope that they can forgive me, right? I guess. because it's never offensive. And I've, of course, apologized to him the next day after I found out that I had actually hurt somebody and made them feel ashamed for pointing out what I had already thought was obvious. But I digress. I certainly will have to stay on my toes, like some little person at a urinal, I suppose. As always, guys, thank you so much for spending your time with me. I hope you found some of the information informative. If you did, if you liked it, please share it. And if anything, I hope you enjoyed the sweet, sweet, dulcet sounds of my voice. Just kidding, guys. I'll see you next week.